Cop killers, cop killers.
It was self-defense.
One of the narratives initially that people really clung to is Queen and Slim, Bonnie and Clyde. How do you describe them to people?
I understand the Bonnie and Clyde comparisons, but it's why it's interesting is because Bonnie and Clyde had to do something criminal in order to get themselves in that situation, and Queen and Slim just existed. That's how they got themselves into the situation. So it's like, when people compare it to Bonnie and Clyde, there's something to interrogate there. And there's a conversation to be had there. And I find that conversation quite interesting. But for me, it's the Queen and Slim.
Get on the ground!
Why is he under arrest?
Get back in the car!
I am an attorney.
Chill,
I'm
just
reaching
chill.
for my cell phone.
I've seen it 3 times now, and so I can't see it anymore. In order for me to be able to enjoy it as for what it is and not look at it and be because the more times I see it, the more different things I'm gonna over-examine and criticize, because that's just what you do. You're always gonna tear it apart. And I think to honor it, I have to leave it alone.
You've seen this film countless times, of course, but seeing it with an audience, each time, how is it different?
To be sitting in it and to hear people laughing or gasping, and also to leaning in. And I saw people get emotional, and that for me, that makes me emotional because it's saying that you guys are feeling me. But the truth is, it's we make no qualms about it. We wrote this for Black people. Period. So if other folks want to come in and listen in, they're welcome, but this was really for us. So it's a very intimate thing for me, particularly when I'm in spaces like that, I'm looking at the Black folks.
We wanted to create a film that was for us and by us, right? We made this for our community, and we made it for the world, but we really wanted to start there, right? We wanted the conversation to start within ourselves, and we wanted it to be a celebration of Blackness and to honor our people, to honor our ancestors and those who have lost their lives to police brutality. And we really wanted it to be a meditation on the Black experience.
Let them go!
They got a new Black Panthers. Power to the people.
What does it mean to you right now to be Black in America?
It means me, I think it means something different for every person of color, for every Black woman, for every Black man. We are not a monolithic group of people. And we're very diverse, and we're all connected, obviously, by our ancestry and our history and so many of our shared experiences. But we're so different, and that's what I loved about Queen and Slim is they're completely on opposite sides of the spectrum. But you understand that they come from very different walks of life, right? And there's not one way to experience Blackness, and then I think that's the beauty of our culture.
We just cared so much, and also too because of what we were tackling. We knew that we were stepping on hollow ground every time we walked on the set. So we would be very somber a lot of days. Just also some of the things we were filming, it was just, we tried to be really quiet and not be goofing around because we knew the significance of what this was. It feels like it's sort of taken on its own life that we're like, what? The movie ain't even out yet. But people just sort of have this eagerness and this excitement. Hey, we're like, what? I don't know, it was just a movie. But they really are, people are like, nah, this is something bigger.
We're in the Black Bonnie and Clyde.
When you guys are both going through your transformation, what was that like to go through the shearing of your hair?
There's a lot of energy that is carried in hair. There's a lot of expectation that's carried in hair when your hair is long, and even though this was, twists that Queen was wearing, the idea of cutting that hair off and it's she's trying to hide, but in hiding, she has to reveal herself, because with hair, you can sort of, it's you have something that you can sort of hide behind a little bit. And when you don't have hair, it's just there you are out front. There's nothing to protect you, to shield you, to accentuate you in that way. It's just you that people get. And so, it was very emotional, and it was emotional also because what it represents, I think, in our community.
When you think about the critics, the people, the idea that, don't think we should be talking about police brutality the way that we are, what do you say to them to encourage them to maybe participate in the conversation instead?
We can't not talk about it. It is open season on Black bodies, and I refuse to be silent. Yeah, so, and I think Queen and Slim is, like I said, it's a bit of a battle cry, but it's also me working through this trauma. I feel very traumatized when I watch the news and I see it, because even though I don't necessarily know some of these black people, I know them though. So, and I feel like we're a part of the same family. And I feel like a piece of me dies when I see these news stories. And I don't think people who maybe aren't black, aren't brown, it's a thing that may be difficult for them to relate to. So what I was really trying to do with the film was to almost put them in our shoes and say, this is how it feels.
I say that the world is ready, so they better get with it. That's how we create change, you know? We have to face like our darkness and what's wrong, and if we don't do that, like nothing will change. And hopefully this film does not resonate as much as it is now in 2 years.
Can I be your legacy?
You already are.
Can't keep